I always wanted to take me to England to learn about our family history.
There's a wedding coming up, actually. You should come.
I would love to, but
Come on, everyone is dying to meet you.
The Invitation is imagined as a haunting and psychologically charged horror thriller that slowly tightens its grip on the audience. Through atmosphere, mystery, and emotional unease rather than relying on constant shocks. The movie is presented as a story where curiosity, loneliness, and the desire to belong become dangerous weaknesses. From the earliest imagined updates and discussions, the film is positioned as a dark exploration of trust and manipulation, where a seemingly harmless opportunity opens the door to something far more sinister. The tone is elegant, unsettling, and deeply uncomfortable, designed to make viewers question every smile, every gesture, and every promise of safety. At its core, The Invitation tells a story about isolation and vulnerability. The central character is a woman who has experienced significant personal loss and emotional disconnection, leaving her searching for meaning and connection. When she receives an unexpected invitation that promises family, heritage, and belonging, it feels like a lifeline rather than a threat. The movie builds its tension around this emotional need, showing how grief and longing can cloud judgment. Instead of presenting the danger immediately, the film allows hope and curiosity to guide the character forward, making the eventual horror feel inevitable and tragic. The setting plays a crucial role in shaping the film's atmosphere. Much of the story unfolds in a grand yet ominous location far from the protagonist's familiar world. The environment is visually striking, filled with old architecture, shadowy hallways, and a sense of history that feels heavy and oppressive. Every room seems to hold secrets, and the silence between conversations feels just as threatening as overt danger. The isolation of the setting reinforces the feeling that escape, both physical and emotional, may not be possible. Casting discussions suggest a strong emphasis on subtle, emotionally grounded performances. The lead character is portrayed by an actor known for expressive restraint, capable of conveying fear, curiosity, and inner conflict without exaggerated reactions. Her performance anchors the film, allowing viewers to experience the unfolding horror through her perspective. The antagonist figures are portrayed with charm and elegance, creating a disturbing contrast between their polite demeanor and their hidden intentions. This contrast is central to the film's unsettling effect. Supporting characters are introduced as part of the invitation's promise of connection and family. They appear welcoming, cultured, and sympathetic, each offering reassurance that everything is as it seems. However, small inconsistencies in their behavior begin to surface. Their smiles linger too long, their questions feel too personal, and their rituals carry an unspoken weight. These characters are not overtly threatening at first, making the growing sense of dread more effective as the audience slowly realizes that something is deeply wrong. The plot begins with the protagonist living a quiet, emotionally detached life, struggling to move forward after loss. When she receives information suggesting a hidden family connection, it awakens a desire to understand her past and redefine her identity. The invitation promises answers and belonging, and the decision to accept it feels emotionally justified. This opening act is deliberately calm, grounding the story in realism before gradually introducing unease. As the protagonist arrives at the destination, the film shifts into a slow-burn descent into paranoia. Social gatherings, shared meals, and polite conversations are filmed with a sense of tension just beneath the surface. The camera lingers on faces, glances, and subtle gestures, encouraging viewers to search for meaning in every interaction. The protagonist begins to notice rules and expectations that are never fully explained, creating a sense of obligation and control. Midway through the film, strange customs and traditions become more prominent. These rituals are presented as cultural or familial practices, but their true purpose remains unclear. The protagonist feels increasingly trapped by social politeness and the fear of appearing ungrateful or suspicious. This internal conflict is one of the film's strongest elements, highlighting how social pressure can silence instinct and prevent escape. The horror grows not from monsters, but from the realization that danger is hiding behind courtesy. The Invitation also explores themes of power and consent. The antagonist figures are depicted as individuals who believe deeply in their worldview, justifying their actions through tradition and belief. The film avoids portraying them as chaotic villains, instead presenting them as calm, deliberate, and convinced of their righteousness. This makes their actions more disturbing, as they do not see themselves as evil. The clash between their certainty and the protagonist's growing fear creates intense psychological tension. As the story progresses, the protagonist begins uncovering fragments of truth about the true nature of the invitation. Clues are revealed through overheard conversations, hidden documents, and unsettling discoveries within the environment. The film carefully avoids over-explanation, allowing viewers to piece together the horror alongside the main character. This gradual revelation keeps tension high and maintains a sense of dread rather than shock. The emotional stakes intensify as the protagonist realizes that her vulnerability has been exploited. Her search for belonging has led her into a carefully constructed trap. The film emphasizes her internal struggle between denial and acceptance, showing how difficult it is to admit danger when doing so means losing the hope she desperately wanted to believe in. This emotional conflict adds depth to the horror, making it feel personal rather than purely supernatural or violent. The latter part of the movie shifts into a more overt thriller, but still maintains its restrained style. Moments of violence, when they occur, are sudden and impactful rather than excessive. The film focuses on fear, desperation, and survival, highlighting the cost of manipulation and blind trust. The protagonist's transformation from passive guest to determined survivor becomes the emotional backbone of the final act. The climax of the invitation is imagined as tense and suffocating, set within confined spaces that heighten the sense of entrapment. The antagonist's true intentions are finally revealed, and the polite facade collapses into something terrifyingly sincere. The confrontation is not just physical but psychological, forcing the protagonist to confront both external danger and her own fear of being alone. The resolution emphasizes courage born from self-worth rather than strength alone. The ending is described as unsettling and reflective rather than comforting. Survival does not erase trauma, and escape does not guarantee peace. The final moments leave the audience with lingering questions about trust, vulnerability, and the cost of belonging. The film resists a fully closed ending, instead allowing unease to linger long after the screen fades to black. Release date discussions imagine the film being positioned as a sophisticated horror release aimed at audiences who appreciate slow burn tension and psychological depth. The timing is envisioned to align with viewers seeking darker, more thought-provoking genre experiences rather than simple thrills. There is confidence that the film's atmosphere and thematic weight will allow it to stand out. Trailer information surrounding the invitation is imagined as minimalist and seductive. Previews focus on elegant visuals, quiet conversations, and brief flashes of unsettling imagery. Dialogue is sparse, replaced by haunting music and ambient sound. The trailers avoid revealing the true nature of the threat, instead emphasizing mood, mystery, and emotional vulnerability to draw viewers in. Visually, the movie is expected to use muted colors, candlelit interiors, and shadow-heavy cinematography to enhance its gothic tone. Costumes and production design emphasize tradition and formality, reinforcing the sense of ritual and control. Camera movement is deliberate and intimate, often staying close to the protagonist to heighten emotional immersion. Sound design uses silence and subtle audio cues to amplify discomfort. Overall, The Invitation is imagined as a disturbing and emotionally resonant horror film that examines how the desire for connection can become a weapon. The imagined updates and discussions surrounding the project paint it as a story that values atmosphere, character, and psychological tension over spectacle. By focusing on manipulation, trust, and the hidden dangers of politeness, the film aims to deliver a horror experience that feels elegant, intimate, and deeply unsettling. If executed as envisioned, The Invitation has the potential to leave audiences questioning their instincts and wary of every invitation long after the movie ends.